am so excited to be having a conversation today with Jana Kilgore, a dear friend and wonderful instructor for the Balanced Rock Foundation. Hi, Jana, welcome.
Hi, Paula. It's so good to see you.
I'm so glad we can connect and talk today. You, my dear, bring so much to the table in terms of yoga, Ayurveda, culinary experience, just health for the whole body, mind, spirit. I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit about your background and how you've come to this world and to Balanced Rock as well.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. I came to this world with some things to do, I guess, and I also came in with a decent amount of chronic pain and different kinds of issues. So my healing journey, like most of us have a healing journey, started when I was in my early teens. A number of things: chronic pain. Um, Digestive issues, chronic allergies, things like that, that led me down a path of discovery and exploration and learning from looking for tools to help. So that's where I began acquiring things, first studying nutrition and herbal medicine, breathing and meditation, um, time outside, being in nature. It's always been where I'm happiest. But my, pain and limited mobility issues really made it not fun. So my path has always been like, what do I have to do to be able to play outside and do fun things for as long as I possibly can? So that led me to different practitioners and learning all kinds of things. Led me to yoga eventually when I was living in Nepal in college, and then really diving into yoga study and practice, and then eventually learning to teach and continuing to do that in 99, 2000, which introduced me to Ayurveda. And when I found Ayurveda and started to understand what Ayurveda is, it was the culmination of all of these different modalities I had already been accumulating and acquiring and studying from different sources. So I dove headfirst into that. Studied Ayurveda, have continued to study Ayurveda with a lot of different amazing teachers, and studied at Mount Madonna in California. And I'm always studying, continuing to study. I ran wellness centers in Michigan and California and Silicon Valley for the better part of 15 years or so. Um, and still work with a lot of clients and teach yoga and teach and work with a lot of practitioners too. And I came to Balanced Rock. I think I first heard about Balanced Rock when it was the Wild Women workshops many, many, many moons ago. And then through my husband, Patrick Bremser, met the amazing co-founders of Balanced Rock, Heather Sullivan and Eliza Kerr. And they scooped me up, said, come hang out with us in Yosemite and do some fun things and play outside. And teach yoga and Ayurveda, under the moon and stars at 10,000 feet. And I was like, that's a no-brainer. Sign me up. Let's do it. And that was, that was, I want to say my first trip with Bounce Rock was around 2012.
Mhm.
2012. So that's that.
Wow, Jan, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you are a part of this community and this family, really.
Thank you.
Um, as you were talking, Jenny, you said that Ayurveda, I think you used the words, is a kind of like a culmination of all these different modalities, and it really brought things together for you. Could you share with folks who may not be familiar with that word? And I know it's like a vast body of knowledge, but in a sentence or two, what is Ayurveda exactly?
Okay. So the word Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word. The root Ayur means life or living, and Veda means knowledge or ancient wisdom. The entire scope of the Vedas are these ancient wisdom teachings from the Indian subcontinent and the Himalayas. And so the word Ayurveda is usually translated to The wisdom of living, one translation I really like is the wisdom or living skillfully, the tools of living skillfully. Um, so that's what Ayurveda is. Ayurveda is often called the sister science of yoga. My understanding at this point, 20 plus years in, is is more that Ayurveda is the mother, is like this mother or grandmother of the Vedas, and yoga is one of the daughters, or like it's one of the many prescriptions and modalities that Ayurvedic practitioners and Ayurvedic medicine will use to help someone navigate the seasons of life and the challenges of life to find homeostasis.
Awesome. That's beautiful. I've never heard it described that way before, and it really lands for me. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
great.
they were always meant to be used and practiced and lived together. And so Ayurveda really covers uh, so many different modalities that are incorporated and used for individuals healing through different times of their lives.
hmm And I'm so excited because you'll be coming over from Hawaii to the
Mhm.
Yosemite area here in a couple of months and offering a program that brings both yoga and Ayurveda together. And I'm curious, in terms of this program, what are some of the things you're most looking forward to?
Oh, there's so much. Teaching with Heather Sullivan is one of the major highlights. We always love teaching together, and it'll be fun to see the whole group that comes together. Every single group is always different and unique and beautiful in its own way. Teaching in the foothills of the Sierra is always a gift. It's just a beautiful place. One of the things I'm most excited about in this 5 day immersion style training is that we will really be able to live the tools that we are sharing. We'll be able to live and then embody practicing yoga with informed by the teachings and principles of balancing through Ayurveda. So we'll be living dinacharya, which is called like the daily routines that help us to sync up with the circadian rhythms and help us to sync up with um, our inner environment with the outer environment. So most likely it's going to be hot and dry over there by the time we get over there for the summer solstice. So we'll be doing practices throughout the morning and the day, living this practice as we learn and grow and embody these teachings over the course of the 5 days. It's always profound and surprising and beautiful to get to really have this much time to immerse with people
That's great. And so I mean, you live this every day. And I'm
as
curious if you
best I can.
Yeah, well, pretty well from my experience of sharing time with you. And so I'm curious, like, why do you think that learning about yoga and Ayurveda is important, or how has it helped you?
Oh gosh, it's such a big question. And it's a question that's really coming up a lot amongst my Ayurvedic colleagues, practitioner colleagues. Um, you know, it's they were really always meant to be taught together. And I think, yoga needed to come to the West, was literally sent to the West by teachers and yogis in India, to be carried over and continued and to grow. And I think Westerners really uh, needed to first have the introduction of yoga in all of its forms before it could open up and our mental constructs could soften and become malleable enough to then be open to what living Ayurveda is, because it is so different than how most of us Westerners have been raised and taught, and what the overarching cultural norms are. So at this point, it's like it's very much time. All of us feel like it is past time for um, yogis to have this greater understanding, this huge, great gift of what Ayurveda is. It individualizes our yoga practices. It helps us to practice more skillfully every day of our lives through the changes of the day and the changes of the season and throughout the seasons of our lives. Um, it really helps us to have so many more tools and greater understanding of how to use all these tools, when and where and how much. For us to create and cultivate peace and harmony and balance within ourselves, as we're all spinning on this blue globe, through the cosmos, affected by all these other things. So I think uh, if you have a yoga practice, you've been teaching yoga, you're embodying it as much as you can, layering in the practices, the principles, and the tools of living Ayurvedic medicine and wisdom is only going to enhance your experiences and also, for sure, create a lot more sustainability.
Okay, fantastic. And so, for folks who may not be able to join us in person, I'm curious if you would be willing to share any kind of like Ayurvedic tip or trick or practice that we could just start incorporating right away into our lives. I don't know if it works
Right
like that.
away. Um, yeah, definitely. What I have learned over all of these years is that it's never one thing. It's never like one single thing. There's no magic pill, there's no magic pranayama, like there's no one thing. It's always a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this over there. So what would I say? One thing, oh my gosh, one thing. One thing would be to, there's so many things. Um, Really, I think that pranayama breathing practices would be if I was going to offer one single thing, it would be to learn diaphragmatic breathing. And to do diaphragmatic breathing practices, set a timer for 5 minutes and do diaphragmatic breathing, either laying down, most likely laying down, or seated for 5 minutes every morning, and then again every evening. But just start with the morning, start with 5 minutes. It'll change your life. It'll change how you breathe. It'll improve your overall energy, vitality, calm the nervous system, improve digestion, improve your internal posture so that your external, skin and meat bag, and like everything starts to fall into place over the fullness of the breath and the inner alignment shifts that diaphragmatic breathing can offer.
Wow,
And maybe we
that's
can link to I'll do a practice and I'll send it to you so we can link to that.
that's a lot of benefit that we can receive by just committing 5 minutes a day. That's incredible.
If I was going to add one more thing, so
Oh,
second thing
sure, why not?
would be ghee. Eat ghee every day.
Okay, wait, what's ghee for those who don't know?
Ghee, ghee is clarified butter. And so it goes through, and it's super high quality, happy cows grazing in the grass under the rainbows and blue sky. Their milk, that's what we have in Kauai. We have happy cows under the rainbows. Uh, Grass fed and finished, very healthy cows. Their milk, the cream, is then turned straight into um, uh, butter that's clarified, which the clarification removes lactose and casein. And so those are the milk fats, sugars, and solids that many people have a sensitivity or allergy to. And all that we're left with is basically this green grass oil that is in Ayurveda and yoga, in many traditions, and in modern functional medicine and nutrition, is seen as the most potent sattvic high form, like best of oils. It's helpful for digestion, it's healing for the nervous system, strengthens the tissues, and it tastes amazing. So even adding quarter to a half teaspoon, or maybe all the way to a teaspoon, to your warm food, soup, oatmeal, grains and things like that a couple times a day will have many overall benefits to the mind, body, and the heart.
That's incredible. And I think that's one of the things that I have just loved about learning about Ayurveda from you actually is like they're small changes that we can make. They're manageable changes, but the impact is huge. It's really has been life changing. So I really appreciate those two pieces, Jana. That's great. Um, and will we get to do some Ayurvedic cooking at this on
We
this
are
program?
definitely, that's one of the benefits of doing the immersion where we are. Um, at the Bug Hostel, we will have use of the kitchen there. And so we will definitely be doing quite a few Ayurvedic cooking practices, hands on practices where we will make ghee. We will learn to make some really helpful digestive teas, khichdi, and then some simple basics of Ayurvedic nutrition and cooking principles that we'll then be incorporating into our week together.
Oh, I love that because I
And
know
we'll leave with recipes as well.
yes, that's I was gonna say, when I sometimes go on retreat or join a program, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go and luxuriate for a week and then go back home and leave that behind. But I think a really big hope for this program, is for folks who join us to be able to take the recipes, the learning, all of it home and really incorporate it into daily life.
We will definitely make sure that happens. Well, lots of support and ongoing help afterwards. Hmm.
Awesome. Oh, Jana,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thanks so much for taking the time to connect and share just a little bit, a little teaser of the goodness that will be coming up in June.
Thanks for having me, Paula. It's going to be an amazing 5 days together. And I'm really looking forward to all the wonderful people that jump into this immersion with us. Thanks.
Thank you.